You wake up tired before the day even begins, not because you're old, but because your body has been surviving. Not resting, there is a kind of tiredness that doesn't come from doing too much, it comes from never fully stopping. You may not feel sick. You may still function. You may still show up, but something inside has been holding itself together for a very long time. And here is a quiet question most people have never been asked. What if the reason your body hasn't healed is not because it's failing, but because it never feels safe enough to stop? There is a quiet belief many of us carry as we grow older, that the body stops healing because of age. But that isn't the full truth. What often changes is not the body, but the way the body breathes. Many people don't realize this, because survival breathing doesn't feel dramatic. You still breathe. You still function. You still live your life. But the breath becomes careful, protective, always slightly alert. Some mornings, you sit at the kitchen table. The house is silent. Morning light rests softly on the floor, and yet your body already feels braced. Your shoulders are slightly lifted. Your jaw is tight without noticing. Your breath stays shallow, as if the day might ask too much of you. Nothing has happened yet, but your body is already preparing. This is what survival breathing feels like when we are younger. Stress comes and goes. The body tightens and then releases. But after years of responsibility, loss, noise, and unspoken pressure, the nervous system learns a different rhythm. It learns to stay alert, to stay guarded, to stay ready. For many older adults, this becomes the background state of living. Not fear, not panic, just a quiet tension that never fully leaves. As if the body has been holding its breath for years. And here is something rarely said gently enough. A body that is always bracing cannot heal. Healing does not begin with effort. It begins with safety. And safety begins with the breath. Not deep breathing, not perfect breathing, just a breath that tells the body, you don't have to protect me right now. Many people mistake fatigue for weakness. They think irritability is just part of aging, but often these are messages, signals that the body has forgotten how to rest while awake. The body is not broken. It is tired of defending itself when breathing becomes survival. Most of the body's energy is spent staying upright, controlled, and ready. Very little remains for repair, digestion, immunity, or deep rest. That is why healing can feel distant, not gone, just postponed. And most people never realize this is happening until the body quietly refuses to cooperate. If the body has been surviving for years, how much time does it really need to remember how to heal again? There is a quiet doubt many people carry. It often sounds like this. How could 5 minutes possibly matter? 5 minutes feels too small, too gentle, almost disrespectful to everything the body has endured. But the body does not change through effort, it changes through state. Think of a moment you know well. You're stopped at a red light. Running late, your hands tighten on the steering wheel. Your breath shortens. Your chest feels narrow. Nothing serious happened, yet your entire body shifted. That is a state change. Now imagine the opposite. You sit down. The phone is quiet. The clock keeps ticking, but no one needs anything from you. For a few minutes, the body is not asked to perform, explain, or prepare. Just 5 minutes like this. This is why 5 minutes can matter, not because they fix anything, but because they interrupt survival. For a body that has been bracing for years, long practices can feel like another responsibility. 30 minutes feels demanding. An hour feels impossible, but 5 minutes is different. It is too short for the mind to argue, too brief for resistance to rise, too gentle for the body to feel threatened. And in that small window, something important happens. The nervous system notices. I am safe right now. Nothing changes on the clock, but something changes inside the body. The breath lowers slightly. The shoulders drop just a bit. The jaw softens without instruction. You may not feel calm. You may not feel peaceful. You may only notice that you are less tight than before. That is not nothing. That is the beginning. Healing does not need to feel dramatic. Real healing often begins quietly, as a softening so subtle you almost dismiss it. 5 minutes doesn't fix your life. It reminds your body. It is allowed to stop from bracing, to allowing dot from surviving, to listening. And once the body remembers how to listen, it becomes ready for something deeper, not a technique, not a method, but a gentle return. Because what the body needs next is not guidance, but permission. Asterisk, when people hear the word ritual, they often think of instructions, steps to follow, something to do correctly. But this quiet ritual is not a technique, it is a return. Imagine an evening. You know well the house is dim. One lamp is on in the living room. You sit in the same chair. You've sat in 4 years. Nothing special is happening. And for once, nothing needs to. This is where many people misunderstand the ritual. They try to perform it. They count the breath. They check their posture. They wait for calm to arrive. But the body does not heal through performance, it heals through permission. The ritual begins the moment you stop asking the body to change. You sit. Your hands rest where they fall. Your breath moves. Not deeper, not better, just as it is. There is nothing to visualize, nothing to achieve. The ritual works not because of what you add, but because of what you stop doing. You stop correcting the breath. You stop scanning for results. You stop trying to arrive somewhere else. One man described it quietly. I thought I was supposed to relax, but then I realized I was allowed to stay exactly as I was. Nothing magical happened, but for the first time in a long while, his body stopped asking for permission to exist. That was the moment his shoulders lowered, not because he told them to, but because they no longer had a reason to stay lifted. A technique asks the body to follow instructions. A ritual invites the body to remember, and memory is older than effort. The ritual didn't calm the body, it stopped the body from trying to calm itself. And when the body is no longer pushed, it begins to reorganize on its own. Asterisk, most people think healing feels like gaining something, but the body experiences healing as no longer needing to fight. When the body stops fighting life, the changes are rarely dramatic. No breakthrough moment, no sudden surge of energy. Instead, the changes arrive quietly. One morning, a man stood brushing his teeth. Same mirror, same reflection, but something felt different. I didn't feel better, he said. I just didn't feel at war. When the body is no longer bracing, energy redirects itself. Sleep may feel deeper. Reactions soften. The pause between feeling and reacting grows wider. Healing didn't make life easier. It made life less heavy. The body stopped spending energy on constant vigilance. And that energy returns to quiet repair you never see happening. Nothing outside may change, but inside, life feels lighter because you stopped carrying it all at once. Asterisk healing does not take root through intensity. It takes root through consistency. 7 days, 5 quiet minutes, not to improve yourself, not to become better, but to let the body recognize a familiar signal of safety. 7 days is not a challenge. It is a conversation. The nervous system learns through repetition. Gentleness, repeated, becomes trust. You may miss a day. That is not failure. You may feel nothing at first. That is not a sign to stop. Gentleness is not weak. It is steady, and steadiness teaches the body it no longer needs to rush. Here is the final lesson to carry with you. You were never meant to heal by trying harder. You were meant to heal by feeling safe enough to stop. Peace was never something you had to earn, and rest was never something you had to deserve. If nothing else changes this week, let this be enough. Your body no longer has to prove it deserves rest. Here at Wisdom Quiet, we walk this slower path together. One breath, one moment, one quiet return at a time. If this resonated, you're welcome to like, share, and subscribe. And if you feel called, leave a quiet word below. I begin today. Nothing more is required of you now